Have you ever noticed how a flower doesn't compete with the one next to it? It simply blooms. Yet, we humans spend half our lives staring at someone else's garden, comparing, judging, envying, and forgetting to water our own roots. We live in a world where everyone seems to be running a race that no one clearly understands, yet everyone feels pressure to join. From the moment we wake up, we are bombarded with images of people doing better, living larger, achieving faster. You open your phone, and there it is. Someone celebrating a promotion, someone showing off a luxury car, someone posting a perfect life that looks like a dream. And without realizing it, your mind begins to whisper, "Why not me?" That single thought can plant the seed of insecurity that slowly eats away at your peace. But the truth is, you are not behind. You're simply on your own path. The only reason you feel small is because you're standing in someone else's shadow instead of building your own light. Comparison is one of the most subtle yet powerful destroyers of human potential. It makes you forget your value. When you compare yourself to others, you begin to measure your worth by standards that were never made for you. You stop appreciating your own progress because your eyes are fixed on someone else's scoreboard. You forget that people show their highlights, not their struggles. You see their success, not the sleepless nights that built it. You see their confidence, not the insecurities they hide behind their smile. You see their wins, but not their wounds. And so, while you are comparing your reality to their illusion, you lose sight of your own journey. It's like watching another runner stride instead of focusing on your own feet. You'll stumble every time. Every person you admire today was once lost, uncertain, or struggling in silence. But they grew because they stayed focused on their path, not others. They didn't waste energy watching who was ahead. They spent that energy learning, improving, and adapting. They knew that comparison is noise, and growth requires silence. Think of it like climbing a mountain. If you keep looking at other climbers, you'll lose your balance. The only way to reach the top is to keep your eyes on your next step. Similarly in life, your only real competition is the person you were yesterday. If you are improving even 1% daily, you're already winning. Progress is not about being the best, it's about becoming better. Slowly, steadily, quietly. Comparison also creates emotional exhaustion. It drains your joy. It steals your gratitude. You begin to see everything as a race, every success as a threat, every failure as proof of weakness. You stop celebrating others because you see them as reminders of what you don't have. You stop believing in yourself because you think you're too far behind. This mindset poisons your growth because you spend more time watching than working. Remember this, when you compare yourself with others, you are fighting a battle that cannot be won. There will always be someone richer, smarter, faster, or more talented, but there will never be another you. The race of life was never meant to be run in lanes. It was meant to be run with purpose. The moment you stop comparing yourself to others, you will feel a strange calmness, a kind of freedom that you've been craving without even knowing it. You'll begin to notice your own pace, your own progress, and your own blessings. You'll stop chasing validation and start chasing growth. When you realize that you're not late, you're just on a different timeline, peace will replace pressure. Every person has their own season. Some bloom early, some bloom late, but every flower blooms when it's meant to. Your time will come when you're ready, not when you're jealous. So instead of counting other people's blessings, count your own. The fastest way to kill your joy is to compare. The fastest way to build your confidence is to focus inward. Let me tell you something powerful. Comparison doesn't just kill joy. It blinds you to your own gifts. You could have a unique talent, a rare ability, or a quiet strength that no one else has, but you'll never notice it if you keep staring at what others are doing. The greatest tragedy is not failing. It's never discovering your potential because you were too busy trying to copy someone else's version of success. You can't be them, and they can't be you. And that's the beauty of it. The world doesn't need another version of somebody else. It needs the best version of you. When you stop comparing, you start creating. When you stop competing, you start evolving. And when you focus on your growth instead of their approval, you become unstoppable. So stop looking sideways. Stop asking, am I as good as them? Start asking, Am I better than I was yesterday? Life is not a race against others. It's a race against your own limitations. Focus on building, not boasting. Focus on learning, not proving. The moment you understand that comparison is a thief, you'll start protecting your peace like it's treasure. Remember, flowers don't bloom by watching each other. They bloom by facing the sun. And if you truly want to grow, stop watching who's ahead and start walking your own path. One step, one lesson, one victory at a time. Every morning, when you wake up, you receive a gift, a new day filled with opportunity and potential. But along with that gift comes something even more precious, a limited amount of energy. Think of it like a battery that starts fully charged when the sun rises. Every thought, every decision, every emotion, every reaction, they all drain that battery. And the biggest mistake most people make is wasting their energy on things that don't matter. They argue, they compare, they gossip, they worry about others' opinions, and by the time they return to their dreams, their battery is already dead. The truth is simple. Your energy is your life's currency. Spend it wisely, or you'll live in emotional debt. The problem is, many people don't realize how valuable their energy is until it's gone. They give it away to negativity, to toxic people, to small-minded conversations, to unnecessary battles that lead nowhere. They wake up each morning full of potential, but instead of building something meaningful, they let their focus be hijacked by distraction. One negative comment can ruin their mood, one rumor can ruin their focus, and one comparison can ruin their confidence. Imagine pouring your energy into arguments that change nothing, scrolling through lives that inspire envy instead of action, or worrying about what others think while your own goals starve from neglect. That's not living, that's surviving in emotional chaos. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it's smart. Because only a calm mind can build, and only a focused mind can create. The people who achieve great things are not necessarily the strongest, the richest, or the most intelligent. They are the ones who learned how to direct their energy. They treat it like gold. They don't waste it trying to please everyone or fight every battle. They know that every thought they entertain is an investment. It either builds their future or drains it. That's why they choose their focus carefully. They understand that where attention goes, energy flows. If you spend your time worrying about what others are doing, your energy will feed their success, not yours. But if you pour that same energy into your dreams, your learning, your discipline, you become unstoppable. The key is not to do more things. It's to do fewer things with greater intensity. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine two people with the same amount of energy in a day. One spends it scattered across dozens of distractions, gossiping, scrolling social media, reacting to every small thing. The other spends it focused on one meaningful goal. At the end of the day, one feels exhausted and empty, while the other feels tired but fulfilled. The difference isn't time, it's direction. Focus doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from knowing what deserves your attention and what doesn't. Energy is like sunlight. Diffused light warms, but focused light burns. When your focus is scattered, your potential weakens. When your focus is sharp, you can ignite anything you dream of. And here's another truth sometimes. Protecting your energy means saying no. Saying no to negativity, to unproductive conversations, to people who drain your spirit. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to explain your vision to those who cannot see it. Every yes you give to something meaningless is a no to something that matters. Many people feel stuck not because they lack talent, but because they keep investing their energy in the wrong places. They chase validation instead of growth, approval instead of mastery. But when you start directing your energy inward, when you stop seeking to be seen and start seeking to improve, you begin to feel a quiet strength rise within you. That's the power of focus. Energy, once spent, doesn't return. You can't recharge yesterday's effort or recover the hours wasted on distractions. That's why it's so important to be intentional. Ask yourself every day, is this worth my energy? Will this bring me closer to who I want to become? If the answer is no, let it go. Success doesn't come from endless effort. It comes from purposeful effort. You don't need to work 20 hours a day. You just need to direct your focus like a laser. When you align your energy with your purpose, everything starts to shift. You become calmer, more efficient, more creative. You start attracting opportunities instead of chasing them, because your energy is finally flowing in the right direction. In the end, remember this, your energy shapes your life. Every thought is a seed, and your energy is the water that makes it grow. If you water fear, you'll grow anxiety. If you water doubt, you'll grow hesitation. But if you water focus, determination, and gratitude, you'll grow success. Protect your energy like it's the foundation of your future, because it is. Stop giving it to people, problems, and places that don't deserve it. Direct it toward your goals, your peace, and your growth. The difference between mediocrity and mastery is not talent, it's focus. Your energy decides your direction, and your direction decides your destiny. We live in a world that never stops talking. Everyone has an opinion, everyone wants to be heard, and everyone wants to be seen. Noise has become the new normal, a constant hum of voices, screens, and distractions that drown out the sound of our own thoughts. Yet, true growth doesn't happen in noise. It happens in silence. Silence is where you meet yourself. It's where ideas are born, where reflection happens, and where transformation begins. But many people fear silence because it forces them to listen, not to others, but to their own truth. And that truth can be uncomfortable. That's why so many fill their lives with endless chatter, avoiding the quiet that could actually set them free. You see, the world often confuses noise with progress. People believe that talking more means knowing more, that posting more means achieving more, that being loud means being powerful. But in reality, the strongest people are often the quietest ones. They don't need to prove, to shout, or to show off. They let the results speak for them. They understand that silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. When you are silent, you listen more, you observe more, and you understand more. You begin to notice what others miss, the small details, the hidden lessons, the subtle opportunities. In silence, you stop reacting and start responding. You stop chasing attention and start cultivating awareness. That's the power of mastering silence. It turns noise into knowledge. Every great idea in history began in silence. Every successful person, every innovator, every visionary has had moments when they stepped away from the world and went inward. Because that's where clarity lives, not in the crowd, but in solitude. Think about it, seeds don't grow in the sunlight, they begin in the dark soil, hidden from sight. The same is true for growth. You don't become stronger when the world applauds you. You become stronger when no one is watching, when you're working in quiet determination, when you're learning without validation. Silence is not empty, it's full of answers. It's the space between action and understanding, the space where wisdom matures. But mastering silence isn't just about speaking less, it's about thinking more deeply. In silence, you learn to listen not only to others, but to your inner voice, that quiet whisper that knows what you truly want. The problem is, most people never hear it because they drown it out with noise, endless scrolling, gossip, and opinions that don't belong to them. They live reacting to the world instead of creating their own. But when you embrace silence, you begin to hear yourself clearly. You start asking better questions. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? What kind of person do I want to become? These questions don't need quick answers. They need quiet reflection. And in that quiet, you begin to realign your life with purpose. Silence also gives you power in moments of conflict. When people argue, the one who stays calm, who listens, who doesn't rush to respond, that person holds control, because silence disarms aggression. It confuses anger. It speaks volumes without a word. You don't need to fight every battle with your voice. Sometimes silence wins wars. There's wisdom in knowing when to speak and when to hold your tongue. Not every opinion deserves your response. Not every insult deserves your attention. Not every situation requires your explanation. Sometimes the most intelligent thing you can do is simply stay silent and let time reveal the truth. The louder others become, the calmer you should be. Because silence is not surrender, it's strength disguised as stillness. When you learn to master the art of silence, life changes. You stop wasting energy on noise and start investing it in creation. You begin to notice that progress loves quiet, skills grow in private, discipline forms in solitude, and transformation begins when no one's watching. The world may not see your effort right now, but that's how it should be. The most beautiful things in life, growth, healing, self-discovery, happen quietly. And when it's time, your silence will turn into sound. The same way a seed breaks the ground after months of hidden growth, your results will speak so loudly that you'll never need to. Work in silence, learn in silence, heal in silence, and let your success make the noise the world cannot ignore. So, stop fearing the quiet. Embrace it. Sit with it. Protect it. Because silence is not emptiness. It's the language of growth. When you learn to listen to it, you begin to understand life more deeply. You realize that you don't always need to speak to be heard. Sometimes your calm, your patience, your focus, they say more than words ever could. The world is full of noise, but very few are truly listening. Be the one who listens, who observes, who grows in silence. Because when the noise fades, it's only the focused, the disciplined, and the quiet who remain, building their dreams, not talking about them. We live in a time where speed is glorified. Everyone wants to arrive fast. Fast money, fast fame, fast success. We're told that if we're not achieving something extraordinary by a certain age, we're already behind. But the truth is, life is not a sprint, it's a craft, and every craft takes time. You can't rush a masterpiece, you can't microwave greatness, and you can't force destiny to arrive early. Yet, that's exactly what so many people try to do. They chase timelines instead of purpose, results instead of skill, and applause instead of depth. They forget that a fruit picked too early will never taste sweet, just like success earned too quickly rarely lasts. When you look closely at those who truly master their work, the artist, the craftsman, the builder, the innovator, you'll notice one thing in common: patience. They respect the process. They understand that mastery is not born from speed, but from repetition, failure, and persistence. They are not obsessed with being fast. They are obsessed with being excellent. Every stroke, every attempt, every mistake is part of their learning. The world might not notice their effort for years, but they keep refining, because they know the journey itself is the training ground. Every obstacle sharpens them. Every delay strengthens them. And every failure teaches them something that victory never could. Growth doesn't happen when you rush. It happens when you persist. The danger of treating life like a race is that you stop enjoying the road. You stop learning from the journey because you're too focused on the destination. You keep looking at the clock, comparing your speed to others, and feeling anxious when someone seems ahead. But what you forget is that every person has a different road. Some roads are smooth, some are steep, some have detours, and some have storms. The one who reaches the finish line first doesn't always win. Sometimes they just took a shorter path. What truly matters is not how fast you get there, but how well you grow along the way. Because the goal is not just to succeed, the goal is to evolve. If you reach success without growth, it won't last. But if you grow through your journey, success will eventually find you and stay with you. Impatience is the enemy of mastery. So many dreams die, not because people lack talent, but because they lack patience. They want results without discipline, rewards without effort, and recognition without consistency. But life doesn't work that way. Every skill you admire today, every singer's voice, every leader's vision, every innovator's idea was carved out of years of unseen struggle. The problem is, in an age of instant gratification, we've forgotten the beauty of slow progress. We give up too soon, not realizing that the last stretch of the road is where most people quit and where success usually begins. You don't need to rush. You just need to keep going. The tree that grows slowly often bears the sweetest fruit. When you start viewing your journey as a craft instead of a race, your mindset transforms. You begin to care more about quality than speed. You stop asking, "When will I make it?" and start asking, "How can I become better?" You realize that the goal isn't to impress people, it's to improve yourself. You start focusing on small daily progress, on mastering one thing at a time, on doing your best work, even when no one is watching. Because in the silence of your effort, something powerful happens. You begin to build real confidence, not the kind that comes from praise, but the kind that comes from competence. You stop chasing validation and start earning self-respect. And that's something no one can take away from you. Patience is not about waiting. It's about working steadily while believing. When you trust your process, you stop comparing timelines. You start understanding that your pace is perfect for your purpose. Every delay, every challenge, every rejection is shaping you into the kind of person who can handle the success you're asking for. Because sometimes life doesn't give you what you want right away. Not because you don't deserve it, but because you're not ready for it yet. The journey is your teacher. It's where you build the strength, wisdom, and resilience needed to sustain success. So don't rush your path. Don't measure your worth by how fast others move. Keep building, keep learning, keep crafting your skill. Because when you treat your journey as a craft, you stop chasing success and start becoming it. In life, it's easy to get distracted by the paths of others. You see someone climbing a ladder faster, achieving more, or taking shortcuts that seem effortless. You might feel envy or frustration, or even doubt your own journey. But here's the truth. Their path is not yours. Every person has a unique story, shaped by experiences you cannot see and struggles you may never understand. The moment you start measuring yourself against someone else, you risk losing your focus, your energy, and your peace. Life does not require you to be ahead of anyone. It requires you to be true to yourself, walking steadily on your own path. Respecting others' journeys does not mean ignoring your own. It means acknowledging that every person is where they need to be. Some may be ahead, some behind, but none are the standard by which your success is measured. You cannot control another person's timing, opportunities, or choices, and comparing yourself to them only steals your joy. Think of it like two rivers flowing toward the sea. One may be wide and fast, the other narrow and winding, but both eventually reach their destination. You must focus on your own flow, your direction, your momentum, your efforts, instead of trying to emulate the river beside you. When you focus on your own path, you become more intentional. You begin to make decisions based on your goals and values, not on what others are doing or what society expects. Every time you imitate someone else, you dilute your own potential. You adopt methods that may not fit your strengths, pursue goals that may not align with your purpose, and measure success in ways that do not matter to you. But when you focus on yourself, every action becomes meaningful. Every effort compounds. Every decision builds toward your own definition of fulfillment. And that is far more valuable than fleeting recognition or superficial comparison. Respecting others' journeys also teaches humility. You start to see that every person is fighting battles you cannot see. Struggles behind their smile, challenges behind their achievements, lessons behind their mistakes. When you recognize this, envy transforms into empathy. Instead of resenting others for being ahead, you learn from them. Instead of criticizing someone who seems behind, you offer encouragement or understanding. Respecting others does not slow your progress, it sharpens your perspective. You begin to see that success is not a limited resource. Someone else's achievement does not diminish yours. The world is big enough for everyone to grow. And respecting that fact frees you from unnecessary comparison. At the same time, respecting your own path requires courage. It takes strength to stay committed to your journey, while the world pressures you to conform or chase trends. It takes resilience to trust your process when others seem to be leaping ahead. You may encounter criticism, skepticism, or doubt from those who don't understand your goals. But every step you take for yourself, no matter how small, compounds over time. Each deliberate choice, every focused effort, every lesson learned in private, gradually shapes the life you are meant to live. Your path may be slower, winding, or unconventional, but it will be yours, authentic and meaningful. Ultimately, minding your own path and respecting others is not just a strategy for success, it's a philosophy for peace and growth. When you stop comparing, stop envying, and stop trying to control others' journeys, your mind becomes clear, your energy conserved, and your focus sharp. You can move forward without distraction, guided by your own values and vision. You learn that life is not about beating someone else to a finish line. It's about building your own road, leaving a legacy of integrity, and growing into the best version of yourself. Respect your path, respect others, and trust that when you walk in alignment with your purpose, success will follow naturally. We often look outward for validation, at praise from others, applause from strangers, or recognition from society. Yet, the most honest reflection of who you are is not in their eyes, it's in the mirror. The mirror does not lie. It does not exaggerate, flatter, or deceive. It simply reflects what you are, day by day. And if you take the time to look carefully, it has the power to teach you more than any mentor, any classroom, or any book. The mirror shows not just your face, but your effort, your habits, and the choices you make when no one is watching. It reflects the truth about your dedication, your discipline, and your dreams. Every morning, when you stand before the mirror, you have a choice to criticize, to excuse, or to learn. Many people choose criticism, pointing out what they lack compared to others. They see the mistakes, the imperfections, the failures, and feel unworthy. But the mirror is not meant to shame you. It is meant to awaken you. It is a teacher who holds up your life and asks, what have you done with yourself today? Every decision, every action, every little habit is reflected back. And when you face it honestly, the mirror shows you both your potential and the areas where growth is needed. Ignoring it only prolongs stagnation. Embracing it starts transformation. The beauty of the mirror is that it teaches personal accountability. No one else is responsible for your progress, your dreams, or your success. Friends, family, society, even luck, none of them determine whether you achieve what you desire. When you face yourself daily, you cannot hide behind excuses. The mirror silently asks, did you give your best today? If the answer is yes, you feel pride. If the answer is no, you feel challenge. Either way, you learn. It doesn't punish you. It simply holds a truthful reflection. Growth begins when you take responsibility for what you see. Stop blaming circumstances or comparing yourself to others. The mirror only asks one question. Are you improving? The mirror also reveals patterns that often go unnoticed. It reflects not just your appearance, but your energy, your posture, your attitude, and your presence. When you observe carefully, you notice habits that drain you, choices that hinder you, and strengths you may have ignored. These small reflections, when acted upon, can lead to monumental change. It's a daily feedback loop. Every glance gives insight. Every reflection offers a lesson. Some of the greatest personal transformations in history have started with someone simply deciding to look inward and take stock. Your reflection is not static. It evolves as you evolve. If you commit to growth, the mirror will become your most loyal companion. Facing the mirror also strengthens courage and honesty. It forces you to confront yourself without excuses or distractions. You see your strengths, yes, but also your weaknesses. You see where you have faltered and where you have succeeded. And in this reflection, you discover something remarkable: the power to change. No mentor can teach self-discipline. No coach can instill persistence. These are cultivated through repeated, honest reflection and action. By consistently asking yourself, did I give my best today? You develop a habit of improvement that is stronger than external validation. The mirror doesn't judge, it empowers. It encourages you to take small steps every day toward becoming the person you admire. Finally, the mirror teaches patience and persistence. Real growth is rarely dramatic. It doesn't always happen overnight. Yet each day, each honest reflection, each conscious effort accumulates. The mirror shows gradual progress, a posture that improves, a gaze that becomes more confident, a mind that becomes calmer and clearer. You learn to celebrate these small victories, understanding that they are the foundation of lasting change. Life is not about sudden leaps. It is about consistent action, self-awareness, and improvement. When you look in the mirror, you realize that your journey is yours alone, and your commitment to yourself determines your destination. The mirror is not just a reflection of who you are. It is a roadmap of who you can become. So make it a habit to face the mirror with honesty and intention. Let it be a daily check-in, a teacher that never leaves you, and a reminder that your growth is in your hands. When you measure yourself against your reflection rather than the world, you begin to focus on what truly matters: your effort, your discipline, and your evolution. The mirror doesn't lie. It doesn't cheat. And it doesn't compare you to anyone else. It simply shows you what you need to see. And when you listen carefully, it guides you to become the best version of yourself. In the journey of life, the world will constantly try to pull your attention outward toward comparison, distraction, and the noise of others' achievements. But the truth is simply your greatest growth, your deepest satisfaction, and your most lasting success will never come from chasing someone else's path. They will come from turning inward, protecting your energy, embracing silence, mastering your craft, respecting your journey, and honestly reflecting in the mirror every day. The moment you stop competing with others and start competing with yourself, life changes. You begin to understand that success is not a race, approval is not a measure, and recognition is not the reward. The reward is growth, quiet, steady, personal, and profound. You are the architect of your own future. Every choice you make, every action you take, and every thought you nurture contributes to the life you are building. Focus on your own journey. Nurture your energy. Respect your path and others. Learn from silence. Strive for mastery. Look honestly in the mirror. If you do this, the world will no longer distract you, comparison will no longer discourage you, and fear will no longer limit you. Because the truth is this: when you focus on yourself, when you commit to becoming better than you were yesterday, the world will follow your light. Not because you outshone anyone, but because you became unstoppable. Fully yourself, fully dedicated, and fully alive. Your path is yours alone, and your story is waiting to be written. Take the pen, walk with purpose, and bloom.